All right, guys, welcome back to my series where I'm going through all of the challenges in my book, The C Sharp Player's Guide. We last week we did the very first challenge in a very long series of challenges that form the final battle. And just to kind of recap here, let me drag this back over. You do not need to do all of these. You generally should pick one path or the other. The core path, which is what we worked on last time and what we'll work on again this time, is complete 9 challenges and then just do 2 of the expansions. So there's 18 total, but you do 11 if you did that, or you do the expansion path, and that is you go get the code that I had for the core path and just use that as a starting point. And there's some extra challenge there because you've got to learn what on earth I did. Easier said than done, but there's a lot of comments in there, so hopefully that's not too bad. And then you start from there and do 7 of the expansion challenges. So you can pick your path here. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you probably are working down this core path, or maybe you are doing the expansion path, but you just wanted to see like how do people go about building this. The last one we did was a pretty big challenge. And again, this just a reminder, this is what we're doing. We're trying to build out something that's like this. It's a turn-based like combat, like the kind of thing you see in a lot of JRPGs. Paper Mario is a good example of this. Final Fantasy VII is a good example of this, where you have all these characters and they've got some actions they can do, and the player will pick an action for each of the characters. The computer AI will pick an action for each of its characters, and they'll like perform attacks or heal or use potions or whatever it is. They'll do different things, and with the intent of eliminating all the people on the other team. So that's the thing we're building. It is a big challenge. It really, really is. I underestimated all the XP on these, I think. Even though I picked these numbers after having solved it myself, I feel like I've seen in the meantime that these are big. But hopefully they're also at least somewhat interesting. So today we're going to be doing this one, this True Programmer Challenge, and we are going to, yeah, this is the one we're going to be doing. So let's just dive into that. So the intent of this in the last challenge, all we did, I'm going to scoot this out of the way. All we had previously on this video series is just two, basically there's one type of monster that we've got and that's it. And it's a skeleton. And we want the two teams to not just be two skeletons beating each other up. We want a different character. And the character we want is the hero, which is the what we're going to call in the game at a conceptual level the true programmer, which is you, the reader of the book, in some ways, if you're following the story, coming to fight the uncoded one. And so where the skeleton, like, it was just based on type, this character, this other character, the true programmer, it needs a name. Like, we want the human to be able to say, like, enter in your name. What is your name? And use that, refer back to that through the rest of this. So we do need to be able to represent that character, and we do need to ask the player for the name to use. And then otherwise that's it. So this shouldn't be too bad. I think it's just a matter, like, just looking at this. I think, just again, I'm kind of sketching out here. I'm not sold on it being this way, but let's go down this path and see. So this is a true programmer, and this is another character. And then this also needs an override for the name. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make this, not because I can't just return anything. I'm just going to make it a get only property. And we're going to pass it in. Like in this case, because the name is going to vary from run to run, we can't just use, I mean, we could do something like what we did here and just use true programmer, but I think we're going to get a name from the user, and then do, and then just set it aside, and then that's the name that we'll use. So that it should be sufficient to get that. And all I think we need to do here at this point, this is gonna be a super easy challenge. I'm gonna just say stealing some. Somebody just completed this, and I ran their program. By the way, I love seeing in Discord. I love seeing the people submit their challenges, especially I love seeing the boss battles. It's really fun to see people's journey from beginning to end. Anyway, I saw one that I loved the verbiage that they used, and I'm going to get it a little wrong here, but I'm going to steal blatantly here. Give people some words of encouragement. Oops. All right. So, um, so all right, there we go. So I honestly think that's about it. This is complaining about null. This is saying this could be null. Like the the pathways where this could be null are very, very limited. Um, and honestly, all of the places that we're using it, I think would be fine. It's not going to. I think it's not going to crash. So I think that's it at a really high level. I'm going to run this, and we'll try it with an actual name. I'll use the name in the book. And now you, unlike last time, now you can see like it is iterating, alternating back and forth. Tog gets a turn, skeleton gets a turn. Tog gets a turn, skeleton gets a turn. So it is going back and forth between two different characters. However, let's see if I can remember how to get null. I think you do Control Z on Windows and then you hit enter. Yeah, okay. As you can see, like it didn't crash. None of this like crashed with null. In theory, if somebody's hitting Control Z, they may be trying to bail on a loop. Like that may be a like by sending that signal to get it to be null, may be a sign that they don't want to keep going. And in which case, like one thing we could do here is we could say we could do something like allow this to be null, and then say if true programmer name is null, turn. Like we could just stop. Alternatively, we could do something like true programmer name equals some anyway. So we could do something like that. We could just say if they did put in null, let's fall back to this other value. Of course, if we're going to do that, this is the same thing. The book covers this, but it's not like it comes up that often. So that's the thing that says use this if it's not null. And if it is null, then fall back to this value. So now if somebody puts in null, it doesn't break anything. And we actually get a reasonable name here. Another thing we might consider is we might consider doing something like since all of these tend to be like uppercase. Like one thing we could do is we could just come in here and say dot to upper. Just call to upper on it so that we've got so that even if I come in here and I type in my name, it like capitalizes it just like all the other like names of special things. So I kind of like that, being able to, no matter what they typed in, we'll make sure that by the time we actually assign it in here, it's uppercased. We could also just call to upper down here somewhere, like here where it's used and here where it's used. We could just call to upper there. I think either way works. Anyway, I don't want to drag this one out. I think it was short and simple, and I think that's it. So let's call it here, and I will see you guys next time.